Please fasten your seatbelts.
I had 11 Olympians and over 800 national champs. And all those men, they wouldn't do half the work that she do. And I'm seeing it from the young ladies. These last 2 years, when you think about it, all the good fights is coming from the women. The guys is ducking each other, looking for the easy way. Hey. I'm telling you like it is, you know? So again, you know, this young lady did everything I asked her, and she did more. And I'm watching all the young ladies that's boxing now. It's like they trying to prove they better than men. Now, we knew they was kind of there, but now they showing that they mean. You know, in old days in Philly, we call these guys crazy. And that's the way these women are. So when you go back home, speak nice to your ladies.
Welcome to BodyWork.
Please fasten your seatbelts. I had 11 Olympians and over 800 national champs. And all those men, they wouldn't do half the work that she do. And I'm seeing it from the young ladies. These last 2 years, when you think about it, all the good fights is coming from the women. The guys is ducking each other, looking for the easy way. Hey. I'm telling you like it is, you know? So again, you know, this young lady did everything I asked her, and she did more. And I'm watching all the young ladies that's boxing now. It's like they trying to prove they better than men. Now, we knew they was kind of there, but now they showing that they mean. You know, in old days in Philly, we call these guys crazy. And that's the way these women are. So when you go back home, speak nice to your ladies.
Welcome to BodyWork.
Please fasten your seatbelts. had 11 Olympians and over 800 national champs. And all those men, they wouldn't do half the work that she do. And I'm seeing it from the young ladies. These last 2 years, when you think about it, all the good fights is coming from the women. The guys is ducking each other, looking for the easy way. Hey, I'm telling you like it is, you know? So again, you know, this young lady done did everything I asked of, and she did more. And I'm watching all the young ladies that's boxing now. It's like they trying to prove they better than men. Now, we knew they was kind of there, but now they showing that they mean. You know, in the old days in Philly, we call these guys crazy. And that's the way these women are. So when you go back home, speak nice to you.
Welcome to BodyWork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to BodyWork Boxing. Yeah, man, I'm just excited about today, man. Got a treat for you all today. And we're going to get to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to post the link in the chat. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get popping. Waiting for some things to come into play right now. So salute to everybody out there in the boxing world, in the boxing sphere. It's an honor and a privilege for y'all to meet me. I am Dragonfly Jones, and I'm going to teach you how to render your opponent sound, and that's your mercy. My 80s baby, man. And some of y'all might not remember that, man. That's that Martin and Dragonfly Jones. You did. So what's going on, man? I'm just waiting on the treat, you know. Making sure everything is everything, man. I think, man, it's something about YouTube, man. When you get to cooking and when you really on to something, man, sometimes it doesn't allow you to be great. And that's what happened the other day, man. I had that ether the other day, and I just didn't go through with it because YouTube was buffering me out. You know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, I'm back at it. So we here today. We are gathered here today to speak on a couple things. We are gathered today. I got that link out there. Trying to make sure everything is situated. Let's see. So yeah, it's always an honor and a privilege, man. It's always an honor and a privilege, man, to chop it up with my guy, the king of mean of Exes. You know what I'm saying? We be getting in some heavy sparring. You know, we got, our weekly rituals that we get in, and we get in there, and I do some body work on the championship rounds, or the brother might come over and we might go ahead and get into some boxing minds. And we always talk about how, when we over there, it's like playing chess on the clock, and over here it's like playing chess off the clock. So with no further ado, I'm gonna introduce my man, King of Mean of X6. What's up, champ?
You here to do some work, man.
Yeah, you here to do some work. Can you hear me good, bro?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah, man. Man, it was been a lovely day of boxing yesterday, and I was pretty excited. I was blowing you up all day yesterday. We were shooting our shit back and forth, you know what I'm saying, and just stirring up, the boxing dialogue. I was gonna try to do the thing the other day about the boxing vernacular, but you know how you talk and how you is with the lingo. You get me now. You know what I'm saying? So I was a little hyped. There's a lot of things, man, and coming up into it, man. The big news is Regis is the 2-time champ. So I was looking at, we always play chess with this thing, and we always looking ahead and looking forward. And I'm thinking that now that he's champion, he got the WBC, man. Like, just to dip our toe in the water real quick, man. Like, what does this do for 140?
140 is crazy, man. 140 right now, we talked about it, it's underneath the welterweight. I used to talk about vernacular. I used to refer to the welterweight division as the nexus of the boxing universe. Because remember, all of the prize fighting in Floyd and Pacquiao, then it was supposed to be the Ascension. So that kind of went away. But now we got 140, the foundation. I think, the foundation of that division is unstable. I mean, Regis really started with Josh Taylor. I think it was important, Josh Taylor, to break off into pieces. It was going to create this kind of shift, Regis got a great opportunity of all the guys, because in that division, he's kind of like, he only lost to the former undisputed champion. So if not for the politics or the promotional issues, I mean, he technically would be the guy. Even if a lot of people thought he had a rematch, he would have been the guy carrying the division for the most part, right? So this is like major unfinished business for him. Although there were some other guys we mentioned, we know people play around moving up to 140, talk about moving up to 140. We've seen Ryan jump up, talk about that's where he won a campaign. But then it's real tricky, man. And I know we got Devin. The speculation, is whether or not he's going to move up to 140 right away, or should he? Well, I think you pose an interesting dichotomy, if you will. Right now, if 140 is this hot, right? It is names I didn't name, but suppose he want to go to 140. People don't like Teofimo. They say that he isn't deserving of that fight. Well, the guy we just saw last night, Regis, 140 for Devin. If we don't get the Loma fight, or if after the Loma fight he feels he's secured his legacy. What do you think?
Look, man, I find some things real interesting, because there's been a whole lot of back and forth with Devin and Tank. Tank came on the Rise. He went on the Rise podcast and lit the YouTube streets on fire the other night. And there's been a lot of talk, but I find a whole lot of irony, man, because if we go back a couple couple months ago. We go back, right? Like leading up into the Cambosis thing. It was all this. Devin was busting at the seams, and he got to go to 140. And then, you know, we see Loma against Jermaine Ortiz, and he was looking like seafood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, so you see Devin hop in the ring, and he looking like big dog, you know, because he done rehydrated. He wasn't coming into the fight, so it was a little jokey joke about Loma saying how big he look and all that. I'm like, okay, cool. So you done did what you needed to do, right? And I had always wanted him to settle the score with Loma because I said that would be boxing fixing itself. That energy came real strong for Loma. You know what I'm saying? Real recent. It's like all of a sudden you don't hear nothing about the weight. Because remember, when it came to the weight question, when they asked him in the Cambosis 2 press conference, they asked him, you know what I'm saying, are you going to be staying? And then we seen Church saying, oh, we going up to 140. We're going to get naughty like a shorty and all that. That shit he be talking, right? And so I was always saying, okay, well, if he going up to 140, how come we never really hear about the names? So now all of a sudden, I'm hearing this rekindling of a Devin and Tio, and I'm like, Eureka. That's kind of convenient, you know what I'm saying, with this, because to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, to my understanding, when you undisputed, wherever those belts lie in the division above Allah, Bud, when Bud came up and all the champions were there, he had a choice of the champions. And he chose Jeff Horn. You know, and everybody, I seen videos where some people was substantiating the win of the Jeff Horn and all that. I'm like, okay, well, if you're going up to 140, Regis got one of them things. You know, Regis Hitchens, Africa, I think he just went and got one of them things last week. I don't know what kind of belt. I think it was an international or whatever, but it's some options and there's some killers. You got Gary Antoine who's been making a name. You know, I don't know, Brandon Lee suffered some adversity last time around, but you got Sabril Matias, one of your guys. You always bring them up. You know, we got Catterall and Taylor. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, it's real convenient. Now you mentioned the T.O. like now, I want to see it. That'll be boxing fixing itself once again because that fight should have happened. But is it ironic now that it's going for T, that he's going for T, or like, you know, because you say BodyWork can borderline a low blow, you know what I'm saying? But like, is it some different energy now, or what has changed, King?
Nah, I think this is fair. This is belt line work, but it lands and it take the gas out of you because you have to be able to present an argument that's going to stand either way, and that's a big statement. Boxing fixing itself, right? But if we allow that to happen, I think we would have less controversy around the questions on Devin's resume. Either what I mean by that is, if he fights Loma, you got to resolve that, right? I don't see how, but like you said, leading up, oh yeah, you know, I was having trouble making weight, you know, that's like, yo, if you're going to lay something down, you coming in, you're like, yeah, baby, I was drinking, you know, I might not, so.
I'm gummy worming it, you know what I'm saying?
You did?
Hey, but yeah, I mean, I still, look, you know what I'm saying, in all due seriousness, I do want to see the Loma. I just find it funny that the energy kind of changed after the Loma, seeing Loma in the ring with Jermaine, light-skinned Jermaine, you know, the energy kind of changed. And so now I'm like, okay, what's all this back and forth with 130? And why are you talking about T.O.? Because he at 140. So it's almost like, it seemed like every time. Now the Loma fight isn't set. Nothing's etched in stone. I even heard somebody go as far as to say, when you know they in negotiations. I'm like, I didn't know anything about no negotiations between him and Loma. We want to see that fight. Yeah. But I'm like, now at this point in time, we got to call a spade in the sense that if you jawjacking with Tank, you know he at 135. He got Hector and then he got Ryan, you know, on the slate. Okay, how are you jawjacking with T.O.? And why is it? Because Regis brought up a good point. He said, now I got a belt. We're going to see who says my name now, because I think that he's one of the most duck fighters in boxing. So that's what I'm saying. I want to see boxing fix itself. But I'm like, it's this game now because now we starting to hit a T.O. name at 140, and it don't add up to me.
You know what it is for me? I see that this is like the Booker T, WB Du Bois divide. Devin approached it from WB Du Bois, talented 10th. I'm educated. He went and got them degrees. And people have heard me say this before, so I'm going to continue to give you this education. He went and got the degrees, undisputed. He's invested in those belts. He's invested in the reputation those belts hold, and he's going to leverage what those belts will allow him to do, which includes potentially saying, fuck it, I could vacate it. I got nothing more to prove because I done already, not only did I go and get them in enemy territory, I went and defended it in enemy territory back to back, so I really got nothing to prove. It's A-side slut talk, but it's the same talk from a cat that when they go and get a college degree, they got to convince you that what they did, and they got to convince themselves too, that it was worth the investment versus the blue collar. So blue collar, right? We talking about maybe not so much focusing on the belts, you know, maybe not so much taking the opponents, everybody come up the hard way like Regis. Mate, let's consider that blue collar, right? Being avoided, struggling, you know what I'm saying? Trying to find a means to an end, you know? You ain't got no rich uncle like Floyd. No matter how Tank want to cut it, we'll get to that later. He got a rich uncle like Floyd, you know what I'm saying? And all support helps, you know what I'm saying? But when you do like Devin did, in his mind, and the people that support that trajectory with boxing, yo, the fights still don't have to be made based on, you know, if he don't like it, he's standing next to Loma, say, yo, Loma still got something, I go to 140. Maybe the T.O. fight is more appealing, or he could sidestep T.O. at 140 and perhaps take, you know, maybe, you know, Antoine Russell. I'm with you, you know, but I do see kind of like a, you know, there's a little bit of room, a wiggle room, and I don't know if it's created by design or if it's deserved, because sometimes it is deserved, or is that A-side slut talk?
Yeah, I think he, you know, he's in a position where he's in the spot that he's in. He has all the belts. He was able to do it against Kambosos twice. You know, a win against Lomachenko would definitely cement his legacy at 135. You know, I think that he's a hindsight guy. Now he's playing with he got all the marbles. So whatever decision he makes, because I want to read this. It says Modern King Boxing. He said Devin Haney, the greatest. He and Lomachenko. This is what I'm talking about. Like what? Like how? Like can you substantiate that? Like what qualifies the greatest? Because I'm a hater when I often talk about the ages of those opponents. I'm a hater when I bring up the ages and the fact that nobody in and of his age area, because they always bring up this Tank almost 30 years old and all this. So Tank becomes so old all of a sudden. But if we look at the age of Kambosos, if we look at the age of Jojo Diaz, if we look at the age of Linares at the time when they fought and what he was able to do in that 10th round, you know, because we didn't see Devin against a Fortuna. We didn't see Devin against a Comey. We didn't see Devin against a Nakatani. We saw him against a Jojo Diaz.
Now look,
go ahead.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say, you know, and this may sound crazy, right? Tell me if you heard this before. If we had to talk about substantiating greatest, I can't say that either of these guys, although they've accomplished considerable great feats, I can't say that they've had substantial runs. Like when we talk about runs of greatness, you can look at Wilder's knockout streak and his winning as a run of greatness and make it comparable. Mike Tyson being the baddest man for literally from 85 to 90, 5 years, couldn't nobody, like, it's a run of greatness. And I say that because those are fighters with limited, in quotes, limited technique or limited resume. And what they had to do to make you say, wow, was a little bit wow. Lomachenko is maybe bordering on a closer wow because, yo, from being where he was, even though they gave it to him and getting knocked down, the climb to the top has been beautiful. That is a run of greatness. And should he get them belt, then I could say, yo, he might be one of the greatest. Devin has accomplished an amazingly great feat. He hasn't had a run of greatness yet. I can't give him that.
And that's what I was saying, King. I'm saying, man, why don't we go ahead and put him in the Hall of Fame? Because much of the argument with the Spence and Bud talk, when we talk about Bud, it's like, oh, well, he got undisputed at 140. And I'm like, well, let's just put him in the Hall of Fame now, because we're talking about what have you done for me lately. Now, Devin, in the what have you done for me lately, has achieved a great feat, right? He went over there, and not only did he go get it, but he also went over there and he defended it. You know what I'm saying? It's two different things as far as achieving the feat. But now, you know, we got people saying the greatest. That's because I don't really do absolutes like that. You know, I don't do all that hardest hitting. Yeah. It's like, man, I don't want to get hit. I wouldn't want to get hit in the liver by Ernie Shavers, and I wouldn't want to get hit with an overhand right by Wilder. But I can't quantify that. And when we start talking about greatest, it's like, well, let's put him in the Hall of Fame, because this is the precedence that somebody like Ginger has set. When you can pick and choose and refuse, and you start making these moves, and all of a sudden you go up against a guy like Bivol, who's not going to be like have you in the awe or wow. He's just going to box your head off, you know, and it's a cherry pick gone wrong. So what I'm saying is, with fans like Modern King Boxing putting him up on that mantle and saying, oh, let's put him in the Hall of Fame already, this is where his fans actually kind of steer him wrong. You know what I'm saying? I mean, salute him for what he's able to achieve. You know what I'm saying? I give him salute. I don't give grown men their flowers, but I salute. So I give him a salute for actually achieving it, actually going and defending it. But let's not put him in the Hall of Fame, because when he moves up, the same accountability that some people are actually giving Bud now, saying, oh, well, what does he have to do? What does he have to prove? He's a young man. So if he's going to live that kind of career for the rest on, what does he have to do and what does he have to prove already? And he's in the Hall of Fame for beating Kambosos twice. I guess my standard is a little bit too high. I don't know. You know, I just think, what did the fight with Prograis and Zepeda, what did that do for you? What did that victory and how he won and him able to stop Zepeda, what did that do for you in regards to Regis?
You know something? If I'm being real with you, I thought about who, like he said, like Regis said, who would call his name now at this point? Because he added some wrinkles to his game. He was a lot more shifty, a lot more crafty, lot more smooth with the footwork, and I love that he did that, you know, in this fight, as opposed to just going in and kind of just going for kill. He did, you know, anytime a fighter carries power late into a bout, that says something about them being special. Mm-hmm. And I think if you put him in there with the right opponent, you know, every fight for Regis is going to be exciting. So when I say like stake and claim, he's one of the guys, clearly 140, it's him or who else decides to contest him. So Zepeda was very good on the night. Zepeda wasn't easy to push over by no means. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a good fight overall, man.
Yeah, I saw him. He put in a lot of more wrinkles in his game. I saw him jabbing. I saw him doing that stutter step. In some, it's kind of weird because when Lipinets went in there and when he faced Peterson, the way he stutter steps, I saw some Lipinets in there, and he was great down there. When he fought, that's one of the best times I've seen Lipinets. But I saw a lot of feints. I saw a lot of jabs. I seen some great head movement. You know, I mean, after the fight, he did look like he was in a fight. You know, because immediately after, some people was, you know, doing that knee-jack reactionism, talking about, yeah, he beats the shit out of Tank and all that ASAP. I'm like, stop it. But it's a good fight. It's a fight that I would love to see, especially since Tank dipped his toe in the water at 140. I would love to see. That's a ready-made fight. That's a set it and forget it. That's unquestionably, that's a pay-per-view fight. You know what I'm saying? So if the money's right, and if Regis continues to, like, if his next opponent, he goes on and he defends it and it's a credible name, or he's able to actually, you know, build up to a unification with whoever's going to get the rest of those belts, that's a good fight in the future. You know what I'm saying? That's a real good fight in the future. I'm going to be one of the first people to say that it's actually a great fight, you know, if you ask me.
And look, there's a belt with I guess Taylor still has one, right, that he's holding on to. Then you got Jeremiah's Punt and my man Matthias, they're fighting for a vacant, right? And then you got Regis with this one right here. So it's a lot of good fights available at 140, man. I'm telling you, 140 is going to be hot for at least a year or two, and because I don't see any of those guys moving up to 147. So we have a lot of action at that, division for a little while, man. At least a good year or two before things get sorted out.
Yeah, I think it's starting to catch fire, much like people in 160 thinking about whether or not they want to go to 168. Transitioning right on into the next topic, it was a Jermall Charlo sighting, brother. It was a Jermall Charlo sighting, and he was actually seen on video requesting a fight with Dimitri Bivol. I mean, so people saying he was scared, and my first take, if I strip away everything from that and all of the hilariousness that we're going to see online this week and all the shows that's going to be about it this week, if I strip all that down, what that move told me was that Jermall Charlo feels that at this point in time in his career, he wants to fight the creme de la creme. He does not want to come because it does him nothing. And we talked about this on the championship rounds. It does him nothing when these guys are coming to try to get that strap off him, kind of banking on his inactivity a little bit, kind of banking on some of the things he might be going. He's getting everybody's best shot every week. And if he does not look like, Superman in these fights, it does nothing for him. So him requesting Bivol, because I believe him when he was asking for it, this shows that he wants the best of the best. If you ask me, that's if I stripped away everything and we don't get into the salaciousness of everything, then we can talk about that. But what did that say to you, him asking Bivol for this fight?
Yeah, man, I think it says a lot because, first of all, of the two, he's not the most vocal. So that's number one. We've seen him. I mean, listen, both the Charlos can present as pretty confrontational. I call him passionate. But yeah, he's not like the most vocal. He's not willing to kind of lay it out there, whereas Mel will like tell you how you feel, kind of it'll blow up at you. Now, approaching a fighter like Bivol, especially knowing where Bivol's coming off of, I think it wasn't just a statement to Bivol. Like you said, he's trying to say like, yo, whoever I can make this fight with. I will say though, nobody want to holler at Boo Boo. Like, I get what he might be saying as far as the best, but the best, like when we had it out for J-Rock and we said, yo, somebody got to see about it, and he did that. Like, when we had it out, like, those fights were the fights that when we gave more that recognition, it was because everybody was talking about J-Rock, but he went and saw him. Mm-hmm. I think right now, if not, if he gonna go up to one, and plus if he gonna go up to 168, I mean, you mentioned it. What about Carlos Adames? He got a belt, That's in-house as well. You know what I'm saying? He could jump up one division. Bless you. He could jump up one division and fight for a WBA and then can really say, hey, anybody want to come down to 168 from 75? Or, put a little cinnamon on this one? But I respect it because, we haven't seen, it's a sighting. And instead of having to do a public safety check, you know what I'm saying? And we get to see him out and about and shit.
With Andre, I was questioning the same thing. I'm saying, man, are the people still, treating Andre? Are they still, feeding him with that long handle spoon? Because if you look back at it, we saw him training and we see, I still be seeing him training and it looked like he getting it in. But Absolutely. If you go back and you look at it, he was supposed to be the one to fight Parker. And then one time it was for a shoulder injury. And then the second time around, I guess he got lowball or for the bag. So I'm thinking, okay, with him not having a belt, because this is the game. Now, Adames, he has a belt. Janabek, he has a belt. That's 160. He was talking about Bill at 68. So it says a lot of things. It says, okay, well, it says, one, I'm willing to go to 68. I don't know if it says, if that means, or if we can interpret it, that he doesn't really want to see Boo Boo because he really doesn't have anything to offer. How much money is Andre going to want? He was also questioned about seeing the winner of the Plant and Benavidez, and to my surprise, He actually said Plant, who I'm actually leaning towards Plant too. That's my early one. I'm gonna put that out there as early as possible because everything says that.
I guess he got to be careful not to be desperate though, man. And I think he can skirt a fine line because I didn't even think about Janet Beck till you brought him up. Like, it's business at 160 that can be done. I get it. You call out Bivol, but it was kind of more like, yeah, you know what? Like, I want to see what's up. But when somebody say, yo, remember, we got, you know what I mean, some problems over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go handle that. Like, you don't want to light too many fires. It's plenty work. He could be campaigning for Triple G. Like, yo, give me, I'm going on the tour. Like, really, these guys don't have the personality. Instead of getting a sombrero, get a tam. You know what I'm saying? Eastern European flags want to say, yo, I'm going on the tour of Eastern Europe. I'm going to Kazakhstan. I want Janet Beck, and then I want Triple G. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta fire this shit up, bro. And you know he going to like, now listen, Bivol, that's Mother Russia. It ain't quite Kazakhstan, but you don't want to end up like Brittany Griner fucking around with Russia. So I think he better chill out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The energy that I got from Bivol when I saw his response, he doubled down on what I've been saying and what he's been saying. That man went undisputed bad up there at 75, and I don't know if Maul at 68 is attractive enough. I'm thinking that if Maul is actually on camera putting out that kind of energy and saying, hey, will you fight me? You want to fight me? You want to fight me at 68? Yeah, I'll do 68. I think that means that he's going to send a bag or he's going to be representing a bag, you know. But
or to that your point, it may be that Adamas fight. They may have to get that Adamas fight and then get that belt from Adamas to make it. So maybe chess moves. Maybe he's setting it up, but it just don't look like a clear path to Bivol. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem like the logic follows other than kind of like, yo, yeah, go holler at her. Yeah, you think I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can get her, man. Go get a number.
Yeah. Hey, he might be. You know what I'm saying? He might be. You right. It might not be a clear path because we talked about that as far as Yard trying to get the better beef, but it looked like that's going to actually happen. But you know, some interesting news.
I told you.
Go ahead.
Not to cut you off. I told you if I was Yard talking about the bag, I'm gonna get a little slutty with that. I would have backed up and been like, nah, give me something to step aside. You know what I'm saying? And then give me the winner of that. You know what I'm saying? And people would have frowned on it, but I would have been like, yo, I don't want to step in the way of Undisputed. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather wait for but it's true too, though. It's also true. You could wait for the bigger bag and say, yo, Stenonis did it 2-3 times. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, that's me, though.
That's true. And then, you know, since we speaking, you know, with some of them, you know, we talked about Bivol, which leads us to Ginger. You know, we saw it come to pass, leading all the way up to Eddie saying, you know, calling up on the phone and saying, hey, you know, calling up Reynoso and saying that Ryder in May, man. So the Chicas have come home to roost, and all this time, all this strategicness, if you want to call it, since we're talking about vernacular, you know what I'm saying? Now we're seeing that it's going to probably be Ryder and Janela. Well, yeah, Janela. Did that surprise you at all, King?
Yo, first of all, the bout, the way it played out was crazy. I say, yo, wouldn't this happen? And then again, shout out to MC in the ring, man. That's why I love sparring with different people. Yo, she broke down Ryder's resume, and basically Ryder lost to Billy Joe. He lost to Caleb Smith. He lost to everybody that Canelo already beat on the UK side of things. So why would it make, you know what I'm saying, sense for this guy to fight? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. But you called it. You called it from like a month ago. At least 3 weeks ago. And here we are. And again, I was hoping Parker was going to have more of an opportunity to kind of upset the apple cart. Would have made it a more intriguing fight. Again, you give me the undefeated guy who's unknown, and if you take his O away, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, the cinnamon's getting like pumpkin spice, man. They gonna start putting that shit in everything, and that shit don't taste good and everything, man.
Yeah, that shit is like candy corns, man. Every now and again, I might pop one or two in there, but I'm not going to the store looking for the candy corns. I'm looking for the peanut M&Ms, the plain M&Ms, the almond M&Ms. You know what I'm saying? Like, but in that regard, as far as Canelo and that whole situation, I put my feelers out this morning and looked at some things, man. And some people were kind of leaning towards the fact that they think that that Parker basically bowed out of that fight. I'm like, well, it appeared to me that he was hurt sooner. I think he probably went like 2 rounds like that. I don't think it happened in that last round, and his bone was actually sticking out. I think the change in style, because I saw him landing some good shots and stand on the outside. He was putting in that body work, and then somehow the way his strategy kind of changed, and it made it seem like because Parker actually Ryder started actually catching Parker, and I'm like, why is he fighting like that? And then when he didn't come out, and then he was showing that bone sticking up in his hand, I'm like, man, it was like he tried, but I think he didn't really want to get embarrassed. That's just me, but I seen some grumblings about some people basically saying it was a lay down and how he patted him on the head at the end. I don't know as far as how, because some people saying he should have pulled the Tank, and I say that, man, people gotta give Tank his credit, man. It's not too many.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta beat Tank.
Huh?
You can't just pull a Tank. You gotta beat Tank.
Yeah, I mean,
just pull a Tank.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Antoine showed me the same thing. He didn't get the nod at the end, but he fought with that shoulder. Can't nobody tell me he didn't beat Magnifico Mark Maxeo or whatever with that shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm like, it wasn't that easy, because I believe that Parker tried to fight that thing at least 1 or 2 rounds. I know at least 1 full round he was out there boxing with that hand fucked up. We knew. And I've said this. I said that on your show a month ago. But I got a video like months and months and months ago where I said that I'm gonna pull that out, man, so that maybe some of the things I say might be able to hold a little bit more weight in the future. Because I already seen it, man. I studied Canelo, man. I said that this is why I was getting on him so much, because in real time, if we don't check these behaviors, they become trends. Think about it. So, because we got people looking up and saying, okay, when you're the face of boxing, or when you get the bag, or you have all the belts, because it's different faces. It's some that's the face as far as getting you a bag. It's some that's the face as having a belt. Things like that. So, depending on what category you fall in and where people are looking up to you, a lot of quote becoming undisputed 3 times. People are going to be looking at your activities and saying, good or bad, that if they were doing it, this is how I'm moving. Because they always say, well, look at Canelo. He don't got to prove. And we already hearing people saying he ain't got to fight or prove anything else. It's like, well, I don't want to buy none else's fights. I'm just going to line his pockets. I lined them enough. Because as much as I talk about him, I support him by buying the fights. You feel me? I don't know what's up with the volume. I think something going on with the volume. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? It just went blank for some reason. We take a break real quick. The volume, something going on with the volume, King. Even the chat said it.
Welcome to BodyWork.
Please fasten your seatbelts.
I had 11 Olympians and over 800 national champs. And all those men, they wouldn't do half the work that she do. And I'm seeing it from the young ladies. These last 2 years, when you think about it, all the good fights is coming from the women. The guys is ducking each other.
Yeah, we had technical difficulties, man. I don't know, something happened with the volume. But even the chat had said something. Your volume had went out for a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot, man. I'm kind of excited, man, for the Charlo, sighting. It was some good things that happened. We're not gonna get onto any of that. We probably gonna get into some of the other things on the championship round, depending on what's on the docket. But I don't know if you've seen that Tank thing the other day where he came on there, because we gotta bring Shakur. I'll close this out because I know you're a diehard Shakur. I'm a diehard Shakur, but when it comes to Tank and Shakur, what side we stand on, when it comes to that. And this is the question.
Yeah.
This is the question. And this is some food for thought, right? Because this is part of the whole us basically trying to set some kind of pattern or some kind of template for how these things should go. Because I asked you a question in some of our dialogue. I said, okay, so in the situation of Shakur and Cruz, outside Cruz, tell me real quick, who would be the A side in that situation?
Shakur.
Okay. So my question was, because when the news came out, we was happy. We did it on your show. We did it on championship rounds, and we talked about the fight being mandated. And we said, okay, man, that's boxing, man. That's the boxing guy looking out, because that's a sneaky good fight. That's a fight that, regardless of what people want to say, who deserves what and whatever, the boxing guy stepped in and said, okay, we're gonna mandate it. So that made it to where the size of the street thing should not have been as big, because it's mandated. That means it's a reason or a rationale as to why that fight should take place. So we thought we was about to get something, but Bob got out in front of it and said he doesn't think Isaac Cruz wanted to fight. And then, there was some things about, Isaac Cruz's father basically saying that, he, they didn't want it or whatever, or why is he rushing to fight me or whatever? Like, he had his eyes on the prize, because I've been hearing Lomachenko. They say he turned down Ryan before. He won a rematch with Tank, so it looks like he's going for the bag. So then Zepeda popped up, and Shakur was on. I seen the message where he was saying basically that Zepeda would be a good fight for him moving up. And so not the negotiation, but the talk about Cruz and Shakur was axed, and all of a sudden I seen news of Shakur sending Zepeda a deal. Now my question is, in this era, since for this period of time we're gonna be from the state of Missouri, the show me state. I'm thinking that even if Cruz's father said whatever he said, being the A side, could Shakur have sent an offer? Because a good enough offer would have get a man, especially for a man with a bag and a name. Could he have sent the offer as the A side, or should that have happened?
Yeah, I mean, automatically, if you're the A side, Shakur should have sent the offer, or if we're going to talk about it, Top Rank should have sent the offer, because that's who it is, right? Now, once the offer's made, right, sometimes, you know, that they could have even sent that offer. I mean, I guess if you look at it, they could have done even worse and say, yo, we're going to send you an offer with a $250,000, you know, purse. And Cruz may be like, yo, nah, like I'm up from that. I just got that, you know, my last go. Like I'm, you know what I mean? I need half a man, you know what I mean, to get in the ring or whatever it is. You know, sometimes that's worse than not sending the offer. But what we got to pay attention to is what happened here is this is Top Rank Diet. This is that cooking, because Zepeda gets thrown in the mix. Now, I'm not saying anybody didn't think he was going to win, but now you have a straighter path to Zepeda, and then what do you say? Well, of course Shakur's taking a risk. He barely stuck around 130 at all, and he moved up to 135, and now he's willing to go straight up and fight a Zepeda at 140, or if Zepeda was thinking about coming down. Like, it's a kind of a convenience kind of play. You know, standing out in the crowd, right? And the dude I got a problem with might be in front of me, but I'm like, yo, when this joker can't beat me, you find somebody else to kind of focus your energy on, you know what I'm saying? Because maybe, you know, your big homies might be dealing with this direct threat, if you will. Subterfuge. It's funny, you know, because there is no reason why Pitbull isn't an option, especially not that the sanctioning bodies are the most honorable, but if the thieves is being honorable, I might want to be a little bit considerable, right?
Yeah, I think it's the Zepeda that's that fought JoJo though. I think it's that Zepeda. It ain't that other one, because I'm like, man, I don't know.
You're right. So let me reel that back. William Zepeda.
Yeah, it's the guy that we were saying, you know, we thought, you know what I'm saying, he was really going to dispatch a JoJo's, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, as far as that's
opponent, a terrible fight. Terrible fight. See, my imagination was better than what was on the table.
Exactly. I was thinking that now that'd have been a spicy one, but yeah. So now with that clarification down there, get to the nitty gritty now. Yeah.
Oh, so hell no. First of all, talking about bootleg versions, right? Maidana is the prototype for the masterclass skilled boxer, all right? Mm-hmm. Right now, Pitbull Cruz is the closest prototype to this disruptor of the masterclass style boxer. Now, of the masterclass style boxers we talking about, it's only 3 of them. We talking about Tank, Devitt, and Shakur. So conveniently, right? Now, Tank already handled his business with him, and I'm sure he'd be like, nah, I don't want to have to go back there if I don't need to. Of course I take the Ryan fight. It's not worth my time. Some fights are that tough, right? Plus, it's a blessing in disguise. Take the shine you got from fighting me, and now people are going to say, well, what if? It's like if Maidana didn't get the rematch with Floyd, but we know what that bout with Floyd did. He got the pick on Broner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it does wonders for you. So now we're talking about William Zepeda, and I like William Zepeda. I'm high on William Zepeda, but that would be like Rolly and Tank, William Zepeda and Shakur. It would be on that level. Come on, man. I don't want to see that. That's crazy. But it's easy business because Oscar.
Yeah. So this is why I wanted to ask, because you did, and this is why I rock with you, even though you are a Shakur guy. You know what I'm saying? When we had that Shakur tape, you know what I'm saying? It's a line drawn in the sand, so we know what both of us stand. You know what I'm saying? But you kept it 100, and that's what I don't really realize. Like, who is going to tell me that? Because in my opinion, William Zepeda, he's still being built. You can't label him a world beater because he's going there and you know, now if he went in there and slapped JoJo to sleep, yeah, but you know, it went 12 rounds. We thought he was, I thought he was because of his body work, but that didn't happen. So now I'm looking at the complexion of the fight, and I'm like, man, I'm thinking, man, Shakur's name could have been built, and he would get much more credit going in there with a Cruz than a Zepeda, who I believe is on like the interim stages of being built. He's not fresh, but you know what I'm saying, now he can mingle with some of them names, some of them people who might have held a belt before, you know what I'm saying, might not be a current champion, somebody else that's barking on the door, you know, things like that. So I just thought that, to me, it sounded kind of weird that fight wasn't being pressed for. That's just me.
I'm with you, man. Zepeda, you know what I'm saying? He ain't fresh, but he ain't got no seasoning on him. He just walked through the door. Just walked through the door, man. So I don't know. He got to do something a little, more substantial to even be considered in the class of Shakur. That bout would look crazy. Yeah, get that out of here. I don't want to see that. No kind of way.
Yeah, because I don't know what it does for Shakur. I mean, yeah, give him a fight at 135. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I guess that's not a guy that you can come up and just play around with. You're going to get the best Williams Zepeda, but for me, I don't know what it does for Shakur. We'll have to wait and see. Salute
what it looks like to me?
What it look like?
Oh, go ahead, shout it. No, I was going to say it. Shout out the homie.
Mr. Kurtwood, you know what I'm saying? That's the bro, man. The shout out, man. He said, "What's the move?" Thanks for coming in and showing support. But go ahead and tell me what it look like to you, King.
A bigger Valdez for Shakur. That's Zepeda. I don't see nothing different. A bigger Valdez.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, he just got to put in the demo, man, and I don't think he can really afford to look bad. And then he's gonna get the best Williams Zepeda, please believe. But to close it out, we've been on for almost an hour, man. I know I kind of like shouted out to you, not last minute, but the day of. So I appreciate you coming on. But I just want to touch on one last thing, man. The guy Fabio Wardley, man. He put on and he said, in that vein of the vernacular, man, he said, I just had to bite down on my gum shield. I love when they say that, man. And that's an ability that separates people when two people are even, you know what I'm saying, in talent and in skill, man. The ability to be able to bite down on your gum shield and get the job done, man, I loved it, man. What did you think about that? And where does that put him in his trajectory since you specialize in, the things across the pond, man?
Listen, man, first of all, let me give my best shot at my UK just bad man with it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, yo, Wardley, not only did he just bite down on his gumshoe, but he just came through. He told Gorman, "You ain't moving on nothing, bruv. Fuck off." Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying?
He said, "What the food? You get me now?"
Yo, to have that ability to buckle down when he was bleeding and busted open, and to be patient. And remember, we was going back and forth, and I said, yo, this wouldn't be a bad time to just jab and wait for the big shot. And as soon as I said it, one big shot land, and then he's doing them. And as far as trajectory, they mentioned, and I don't know if they're going there yet. They said, yeah, he's a common opponent of Daniel Dubois, and he got him out of there 2 rounds earlier than Daniel Dubois. So I don't know if they trying to line up Wardley and Daniel Dubois, but boy, Wardley is on the ascension. And I think maybe some stateside competition, if a Charles Martin's available. Hell, let me be real with you. If Luis Ortiz is still around, Wardley Ortiz. And I know that's a tough fight. Joseph Parker. I see a lot of fights for Wardley, but I don't want to push him towards that trajectory. But he needs a former champion that's not, too faded, not a silver or international title holder. He need that stateside competition. Like, hey, yo, they tell you in UK hip hop, you made it when they recognize your music stateside, right? Jay-Z just now, late to the party, right? I see a little Hove and Giggs, right? But Giggs was running around with Mano like the whole summer before that. You know what I'm saying? But you've arrived when, you make your name. Yo, when Skepta was running around with A$AP Rocky, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When you can shine in the UK and we recognize you over here, you are an exceptional talent. And I think Wardley, I'm very high on him. A lot of potential, to the moon.
Yeah, I'm high on him too, and it's crazy that I'm even going to admit this. Up until that fight was announced, I kind of forgot about him. I think that this guy has legitimate power. You can see that he can suffer adversity, for having his stuff bust open. But I'm thinking like a big shot Shaw might be good. Right now, I think that they need to grow Dubois, even though I like what he's been showing here lately. You know, I like what he's been showing, but I don't think they want to put him in there with Fabio right now. I think that if it's a crash collision, they can build it up and make a lot more bread and have a much more competitive fight if they let Dubois get a couple more fights under himself. But I think that Wardley, man, with what he just showed against that guy, man, and I think he has legitimate power, man. I do. So,
what do you think of Joseph Parker for Wardley?
Now, Joseph Parker, that'll be a tall. That's kind of like that's a tall task. That's a tall task right now. I think he might be able to pull it out, but that's gonna be a battle, man. Right now, like right now, that'll be. You know what I'm saying? I think he's almost there. I think somebody right up under that. You know, maybe one or two of those before a Parker. Hold on, Parker. No, yeah, Parker
the one that just lost to Joyce.
No, yeah, Parker. Yeah, I was thinking about Joyce. Yeah, Parker, yeah. He can get Parker. He can get Parker right now. I think he'll slap Parker. I mean, respectfully, he'll put paws on him, man. Right now. I was thinking about Joyce now.
And I'm gonna pull another one out there. You know, young guy on this side of the pond. F.A. Jabba, he's on a rebuild. You know?
Man. Great minds think alike. That's who came to mind. Because I was going to say Sanchez, but I was like, not yet for Sanchez, but yes, Ajagba.
Not yet for Sanchez.
Yeah, not yet for Sanchez. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he can box. You know what I'm saying? He can actually box. And with the guy, you know, the guy put him through something in them last little. He had to bite down on the gum shield. You know what I'm saying? He had to go there with that guy Gorman. But I think Sanchez, he's definitely a little different. He ain't right there yet. But Ajagba, yeah, I would do that. So good one, man.
Yeah, man.
But I appreciate you coming on, man. I know it was day of, but I just wanted to, you know, I was excited about, you know, some of the things that happened, you know, and I was getting back in the groove with some of the episodes that I wanted to, you know, start rolling out again. I took a little break, man, because of the, you know, that fight that didn't happen, man. Still, I think I'm kind of finally over my hangover. You know what I'm saying? So now my boxing spirits are back up. You know, so I appreciate you coming to chop it up with me, man. Anything you want to plug your channel and you know, and tell them where they can find you and what you got going on over there in the championship round.
Listen, absolutely. It was a pleasure being on here. Chess off the clock, man. I love it over here. And you know, we going to be, you know, creating more content. Definitely, you know, the championship rounds is where it's at right now for me. That's been my baby for a while, and I'm glad to have you on there with me. You know, you got to add a good element of sparring. You can't be sparring cans out here, man. You bring in somebody, and then all of a sudden your sparring partner becomes a champion, or you bring in a guy that says, you know something, I'm out here sparring because I'm trying to get experience. And so look at what happened with Jared Anderson sparring Tyson Fury. That was how we first heard about him. So I love working with you, man, because I feel like, you know, iron sharp as iron. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali. I love that analogy as well. You know what I'm saying? Even Kambosos came out of nowhere being a sparring partner. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got to definitely get your skills up. I'm on Instagram, King Amin of Essex. I'm on Twitter, King Amin of Essex. And definitely I'm with my guy, BodyWork Boxing.
Salute, champ, man. Pleasure as always. I think we got another good one in the book, man. Something to stir up. I can't wait to get back on the championship rounds. You know me, I'm gonna keep coming in doing that body work. And just something to think about, man, because I think we talked about this in our text messages, man. And we see a mega fight in the making in Fabio Wardley and the young Jared Anderson, man. I think Jared Anderson don't get enough attention. You know, he don't get the praise because I think people are kind of scared, just like, you know, people are kind of scared to hitch their trailer to Boots wagon because of the Spence and Bud thing. But you can't stop the inevitable, man. I think that Jared Anderson is part of the new school, and I can see that cross the pond, you know, thing being built, and somehow, some way, not anytime soon, but you know what I'm saying, the boxing guys is going to make that if them guys keep down the path that they're on. You can catch me on the gram. It's Mr._BodyWork Boxing, and it's BodyWork Boxing 24/7 at Gmail. If you want to collab, if you have any ideas, if you want to like link up with either one of us, if you want to guest star on Boxing Minds or the championship rounds, you know what I'm saying? Reach out, you know what I'm saying? If it's a good fit, we're gonna get down. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, it was a good take, man. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, bro.
You too, my man, and I'll see you soon.
All right, man. Salute, champ.